Well, for Keturah Ariel, making art that inspires, uplifts, and advocates for her community is a priority. When the artist had a hard time finding paintings and drawings of girls that reflected her, young women of color, she began creating the images herself. The result, a business for her passion that inspires and empowers young girls. Here's her story from PBS partner WOSU in Columbus, Ohio.
I am originally from Toledo, Ohio. My family is from Detroit. And then we all kind of migrated down here when I went to Columbus College of Art and Design. I remember being younger and not really seeing myself in places. Like when I was younger, I couldn't find paper towels that were brown, you know? I couldn't, so I made my own. And I did that as like a 6-year-old little girl. I made my own paper towels, and it grew to like a collection of like 1,000 paper towels, because that's how dedicated I was, or passionate about seeing things that look like me in the world, you know. So with my work, I want to show like people of color, Black people, doing regular things, you know what I mean, existing in their regular life and being happy or being sad or being playful or being in love. Like that's all very important to me, to just illustrate those moments, because you don't see them as much as you should, you know. But I always knew I wanted to make art. I just didn't know how I could turn that into something profitable. I think it was in 2012 is kind of when I figured out that I can actually sell my artwork on products, and that's when Ariel Brands came about. I basically took my artwork and started putting on everything that I could think of, like literally printing it on everything I can think of. And so I just began to sell my work through my web store, and everything kind of like just turned around. Because I think that's one of the pieces that was missing from my childhood, is seeing art like the stuff that I make. I didn't see it, you know, so it's like being able to have access to it would be great, you know. I hope that all of my pieces they potentially can be a conversation piece, you know. I hope so, like that's one of my goals, but I think like the whole social commentary of some of my pieces is really interesting, because people are used to seeing me like do playful stuff, and it's always really more difficult for me to do stuff that has like pain in it, you know what I mean, or struggle. But I think showing both is important. Showing both sides of the Black experience is important. I have, you know, friends who are not Black who love my stuff too, and who wear it and proudly, and like they still want to represent, even though it's an experience that they don't feel directly, they still see the experience and appreciate it, or, you know, share it for what it is, you know. And I think that's important too, because we all need to have that conversation together. It doesn't need to be just one group of people. Back before, you know, when I was younger, when I was a kid, like that, I didn't have access to seeing like a Black artist, a Black woman artist creating artwork and making money off of it, and actually having her own studio and stuff like that. Like I didn't know they existed. And so being able to fill that gap feels great for me, because I know like the next generation, they'll have more examples that I didn't have when I was younger.
While Keturah described the importance of children seeing artwork that celebrates their cultural identity, Johnny Lee Smith says there's another aspect that empowers young people. The Rochester artist, known for his strikingly raw portraits that stir emotion, says African American and Hispanic youth also need to see artists who look like them. That was a rarity for Smith, who grew up here in Rochester. Joining me at the table to share more is artist Johnny Lee Smith, and it's great to see you. So Johnny, we had an opportunity to profile you a few years ago for Need to Know, so it's good to have you here. You told me that your passion for art really developed when you were in high school and you were a student at Pittsford Sutherland, but you also said you didn't see any role models in the classroom who looked like you doing that work. So as a teenager with this newfound passion, how did that impact you?
I guess it started out, it evolved. I didn't seek out artists or had an interest in art. It kind of was my way of finding myself. And as I started to find myself as an artist, I wanted to see what an artist of color would depict. And it was nervous.
Yeah. No, don't be nervous. I remember you telling me, because you look to Gordon Parks. I mean,
but even
renowned,
before Gordon Parks,
yeah.
there was the interest locally, like David Haygood and Joe Florette. So seeing those people work and being able to interact with them, and oops, I stepped on my mic.
That's okay. So when you did see that, when you were able to interact with them, how did that affect you?
It was like seeing is believing. Like, I myself couldn't see myself as an artist until, I guess, seeing what an artist of color thinks like and creates like, because my own perception of what art was at the time, thinking in middle school before I even went to Pittsburgh Sutherland. So I guess education is also important, I think, because those opportunities was only allowed for me in the suburban school system.
Wow.
In the city school district, we didn't have that many materials, products. There's kids throwing crayons in the back of the classroom. I've had my first slap box fight with one of my friends in the art classroom. So there was no art relation in my life until Pittsburgh. So.
I want to ask you, because I ran into you a few years ago, and you said to me, hey, I'm teaching art classes to young kids. And so in that role as a teacher, and tell me, what did you want your students that you're teaching, what do you want them to gain from you, learn from you, that you did not get?
Expression of self. So what I used my artwork for in high school was identity, finding myself, and I started painting pictures of my family members and also painting my expressions, how I felt. One of my first two favorite pieces were Hope and Sorrow. So I think I spoke with you about Gordon Parks and his influence on me, seeing how the culture and poverty and that sadness kind of encouraged me to think that's what art was supposed to be. But there was also part of me that had that hope. So it was the kind of duel of having hope in oneself and depicting sadness and sorrow.
Right.
And but was the sadness and sorrow my own? I was only a high school student. I think I may have over-exaggerated some things, and any high school student would. But
that was how you felt at the time.
But it's all about expressing oneself and using art as a tool to express oneself is always one of my importance.
I want to ask you before we close, what could happen if more young people see visual artists and creatives who look like themselves?
I think they do, in a sense, which is more in a negative. Like, I would say, like the music industry, which even myself was influenced by, or the urban clothing, the desire to want to seek acceptance through the things we wear. So like having new sneakers on it and friends saying like, oh, they really like it, that encouraged me. I started designing shirts of myself, and seeing individuals have interest in that kind of encouraged me to start creating my own clothing line. So sorry, there's so much.
Good.
I don't even know where to start. So.
Right. No, well, it's great to see you, and great to have you weigh in on this issue. So for artist Johnny Lee Smith, we thank you. Good to see you again. But seeing
our work, it was very uplifting.
Very much so.
Inspiring.
Well, you can learn more about Johnny and his work online. Go to his website, everythingjls.com.